good afternoon everybody and welcome back to Star Cub Review. I thought I'd do another video today discussing why, in my opinion, we need remastered versions of MK3, Ultimate MK3, and Mortal Kombat Trilogy. I feel like we need to have the remasters now in an age where we need to, I think it would be great to preserve the Midway era games. I know back in the day, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, which I have. I also have MK3 on the PlayStation, but I've also got it on the Super Nintendo. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 I have on the Super Nintendo as well. And Mortal Kombat 3 I have on the Super Nintendo as well, which I just mentioned. But I love the Midway era games. I really, really do. Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 are great. But my particular one is MK3 is probably, in very high regards, the standard for... well, it was MK3 and then Ultimate MK3 and MK Trilogy are pretty much essentially all the same game with added characters and stuff like that. But it was the pinnacle of the arcade era. MK3 was the standard for arcade competition. But the reason why I wanted to do a video so much on this, I know I'm probably pouring out too much Mortal Kombat content as it is, and there's probably everyone else doing exactly the same thing, but I feel like I really needed to talk about the fact that Mortal Kombat 3 is one of my absolute favorites. Growing up, I'm a kid that, was born in 1986, but, I'm a 90s kid with a lot of stuff like, Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball Z, and all of that. But I was around when Mortal Kombat was, big. It was big in Australia, but I know it was even bigger in the US. But I have so many fond memories of Mortal Kombat 3, playing Mortal Kombat 3 particularly on the Super Nintendo, Mortal Kombat Trilogy with friends, and on the PlayStation. So I have a lot of fond memories. But the biggest thing, the reason why I feel like we need remasters of these particular games is because they hold so many memories, but because now 20 years later, 30 years later, I'm starting to realize that the AI is extremely busted. It is extremely hard, and revisiting these classics on a particular console like the Super Nintendo or the PlayStation or Nintendo 64, whichever version you got, the AI is busted. It is just impossible without going through Game Genie cheats or Game Shark codes, or if you played two-player, which I played a lot of with family and friends, and that was the way to enjoy it. Whereas the one-player experience was absolutely insane. It was next to impossible to beat the AI because it cheats. Now, I realise I'm probably like, oh, I sound like, oh, you don't really need remasters of these. It's like, those games were crap. No, they weren't crap. I remembered back then, as a kid, that, you have a look, it was fun. And I didn't really think back then that the AI was extremely hard back then. I mean, growing up in Australia, we didn't have arcade competitive sort of games like Mortal Kombat. We didn't have arcades like America does. So we got our enjoyment out of consoles. And the earlier consoles, like Super Nintendo, PlayStation, all of that. So I remember I have fond memories of all of that, playing with friends and family, and it was so much fun. But even the one-player experience back then, I don't think I paid that much attention to just how difficult it was, because I was having so much fun playing it that, I just keep playing and playing until you got better and better and better. Although I'm not an expert when it comes to Mortal Kombat, far from it. I enjoy Mortal Kombat for what it is. I love Mortal Kombat, you know, but I'm not like extreme expert with all these sort of, fandangle combos and stuff like that, like insane Mortal Kombat players are. You know, that's why some of the time with later games, like especially MK9, MK10, and MK11, I never really did the online player experience. Um, excuse me. Purely for the fact that um, I felt when I watched friends do all the uh, online looking for opponents and stuff like that, it's very, very toxic. There are insane players on there that literally don't let you even do a move. It is incredibly insane, and the competitive nature of people that my friends had come across and I've seen others came across as real toxic. I know not every Mortal Kombat player is toxic, so please don't misconstrue that. I'm just saying I have witnessed some very toxic players not letting anything be fair, and that really put me off from doing all of that side of that experience because of the fact that, I'm not the world's greatest, and I know there's other people out there that they feel the same. They're not the world's greatest, and why would they want to do an online competitive thing if people are going to have, a nasty mean streak and be nasty about it and not, there's different sorts of matchups, and I feel like with a lot of the fighting game community, it can be very toxic when it comes to fighting games, especially Mortal Kombat. And that's the biggest turnoff that I found. That's why I don't do that side of it, looking for someone to have fun on there to fight with, because they may be at a level where they want big punch up, combos and stuff. So, I feel over the years that's what turns a lot of people off, that aspect of it. It definitely turned me off because I don't want to fight someone that completely kicks my ass all the time and I don't even get a hit in. I mean, if you want to be that competitive, there should be a system for the fighting games where you get to choose what particular player level you're at, so they can match you with players of your level, so you can still enjoy yourself whilst trying to figure out combos and stuff like that and just have fun with it and not be a gung-ho, you gotta get every single bloody hit in. And I feel with these games, the older games, especially MK3, Ultimate MK3, and Trilogy, the AI was exceptionally hard. Now, revisiting, I realise now that, wow, I really enjoyed myself back then, but I really can't enjoy myself with the AI on these particularly anymore. I have to try and play 2-player with my husband all the time, if I can get him to play Mortal Kombat, that is, because the AI just completely obliterates you. It cheats, and let's face it, I've seen documentaries and that the AI was built that way because it was competitive. You had to the arcades expected you to put more coins in so you would keep going, and that's how they generate revenue, and that's how popular they would become. So I feel that now is the time to remaster these games. NetherRealm Studios needs to remaster these particular ones, because I feel like it had some of the best mechanics, but it also had animalities, babalities, fatalities. It had some really insane stuff in it. Some really amazing characters, some really amazing stuff that they did back then that made it really, really fun, and still does to a certain degree. But the AI, I think they need to remaster their game with some new modes, online modes to be more playable. They need to remaster pretty much essentially the AI and make it more fair to a new but still keeping it to the old demographic as well. But within games now from like Mortal Kombat 9 and upwards, where you have that freedom now where you get to choose what level you're at, a play style, and the AI is fair, and you can still have fun. I played all the Mortal Kombat games up until Mortal Kombat 4, and then the NetherRealm studio side of the games from MK9 to MK11 was the difficulty had completely changed, and that was great because I'd always either play on medium or sometimes I'd play on easy just to get the hang of it, to get back into the swing. So yes, I'm one of those players that likes to play it on easy sometimes, especially when it comes to fighting, because even at a medium level you may not be ready, but those people that play on hard and very hard and chaotic and all that, that's great for them. But for me and my particular style, I like to play sometimes medium, a lot on it, and easy as well. But I feel like these particular ones that I'm talking about were some of the greatest Midway era games I've ever played, and I really think they need to remaster it and, like I said, do a whole bunch of new game modes, jazzy it up a bit, and obviously make the AI more accessible and fair, and keep the real, just the feel of it. Don't have to change every single thing about it, but add new modes, add the AI difficulty better, so you can enjoy because we got to. The thing is, you got to want to preserve these old sort of games because, we got to get to a certain level where you're never gonna see the old style games around again, and you always want that nostalgia factor, especially in the day and age of remake after remake, and some remakes don't live up to their original counterpart, and some do. But if you remastered these particular ones, I feel like you could still have that absolutely amazing nostalgic feel while still keeping the competitive nature of the games, like especially the online modes. Definitely I would consider, if these were remastered, consider playing online with other players if the connection was right, if the modes were done to a good standard where you could have connectivity with anyone on any level, but also base it around your level of experience with Mortal Kombat. Now, it's really, I think, I don't know, I just feel like me collecting other old games that I used to play and some that I haven't even played and I'm experiencing for the first time in over 20 odd years. I'm 37, I'm 38 next year, and some of the games I haven't even experienced, like Super Mario RPG I just recently bought. And I've never experienced the original when it came out in 95 because I never had a Super Nintendo. I was, number one, I was always Super Nintendo. I didn't have a Super Nintendo, but I played it with my friends with a Super Nintendo, or family member had a Super Nintendo. I was also a PlayStation. I was always a PlayStation kid. And I feel like with a lot of the games, especially on PS2, PS1, there were a lot of RPGs that Australia didn't, was very, very hard to get a hold of. They didn't come to Australia for some reason. Some of them came to Europe but didn't make it to Australia because the fact that for Western audiences, they compared it to, we wouldn't get the structure of the RPG, and it's like, oh, okay, well, Final Fantasy VII is, very involved storyline with characters and stuff like that, and and that came out in 97. So it's kind of like, I feel like too, watching documentaries, especially the Mortal Kombat, the making of the original Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, and seeing the documentary on Mortal Kombat 3 especially, and the arcades back in the 90s, it was amazing to see all of that on screen, how America became fixated with all these arcades. And I never had that experience. We never had arcade blow-ups like America does. And it always fascinated me that, you know, how Americans were really, really big on arcades, whereas in Australia, we weren't so much. And it's really fascinated me ever since that I missed out on that particular type of experience. But I don't regret not missing out either. My childhood was pretty good as it is, or was. And so I don't regret not experiencing it. But it's just amazing to see how different America is with the game culture than it is in Australia and Europe. So it's always fascinated me that it's kind of like we need to remaster some of these games. That's like to keep the nostalgia alive. They need to be remastered. I personally think that. I don't know how everyone else feels, but I really just needed to have a chat about it and just let my feelings out about the fact that I really, really cherish Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mortal Kombat 3. You know, like I said, that particularly this Midway era style games, they really need to remaster them. Now is the time to, because, you know, in another few years or whatnot, these are going to be very, very hard to come by, and it's kind of like I really want to experience these games now in a new era, but still have that nostalgic feel. You don't have to change the characters, you don't have to change the way they look or anything like that. You just need to perfect the AI so it suits everybody on every level, even an entry level, which would make it so much better. But see, back then, like I said, I never focused on the AI that much. So it was like I was always playing Mortal Kombat when I got up, and I was at a friend's playing it. So it was fun. I never really paid any attention to it. But now revisiting them as an adult in my late 30s, it's become apparent that now it's just next to impossible to do the AI, beat the AI. If you're a real fucking expert, then yes, you can beat the AI, not a problem. But to fully enjoy it now and go, oh wow, yeah, I still remember how that nostalgic feel. I still have that nostalgic feel. But after a few matches with the AI, and I can only get up a certain point in the tower, and then it's next to impossible. I'm talking about Jade here, beats the fuck out of me every single time. It just becomes next to impossible to get to the top with any characters, where Motaro was in a boost. You literally couldn't beat Motaro. And then if you got to Motaro, you had Shao Kahn as the final boss, and he would literally shatter your ass into a million pieces. No joke. The amount of times I have ever made it up to Shao Kahn back in the day, I couldn't have done it without friends' help. Really couldn't. I had to have friends where we'd always take turns in trying to get to the top of the tower, but that was fun. But doing it as a one player now and not having that, it rattles my brain. I'll give up after a few things and go, all right, it's time to move on to something different, because it really does your head in, knowing that the AI is just going to beat you every single time, and it predicts every single move. You tell the AI what it does, and it does it. So if NetherRealm Studios can hear this, And Warner Brother Games, please, please remaster Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mortal Kombat 3 especially, and Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. I really want to experience these games and keep reliving those memories, but in a remastered form. You know, give us, you know, some added content and stuff like that, and I'll be happy. I'll be extremely happy. What does everyone else think? Let me know. I mean, shit, I've gone 20 minutes talking about it. I know a lot of people aren't probably going to watch the whole lot of my video, but for the people that do, I really, really appreciate it. I mean, I don't know how everyone else feels. Please let me know. Like, really let me know. Email me. Drop me a message in the comments. Email me, whatever. And let me know what you all think. And what are your experiences with these particular style Midway era games, which are absolutely fantastic. But other than that, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. For everyone that is been tuning in, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And everyone new to my channel or has clicked on my channel and watched a video or two, I really, really appreciate it. I really do. It has been fantastic making these videos, and I continue to make in the future. I'll continue to keep going because I enjoy doing it, and now that I'm more confident in doing this stuff and talking about it, I'll just continue doing it because I really, really enjoy it. Alright guys, have a great afternoon. Stay cool. It is really, really hot over the next couple of days. So with that, I am going to go and play some Super Nintendo. Continue my playthrough of Breath of Fire. Alright guys, take it easy, and I'll be back with another video later on today, tonight, tomorrow. Alright guys, take it easy. Bye.